Windy City Peyton Watch here in Chicago. I'm up on like State Street in Washington. We're gonna walk over to Grant Park. I'm gonna walk you guys past Lollapalooza, and then we'll head over to the org. I just want to kind of go past Lollapalooza to see if there's anybody out there trying to catch the people entering or leaving Lollapalooza. If there's any body routers or sidewalk recruiters. Indigo, awesome idea. I love that. And there is so much history there. And again, I've said this on the other channel so many times that Chicago migrates so often that what a neighborhood is today is probably not what it will be in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Howdy, J-Bat. Thanks for coming in. Great love to all the mods. Make sure to keep us on track. I really appreciate that. Howdy, D. So we're heading down Washington, and as you go down Washington, you end up seeing basically the band shell, the Pritzker band shell. Hopefully you guys were able to watch the second part of the interview with Israel Brownstein. I know that the audio was kind of tough, but I've got chapters in there now, so you can kind of jump ahead, get to the questions that we kind of go over. It's remarkable to know that people survived that crash, and then to think that one of them is somebody who's in our community. So get the good bananas, Amy. This evening, I'm going to do a speed run with, not a speed run, basically, well, we can review it. It'll be a speed run. Both Declared Dave and my videos this week. He had Nora on, did a bit of a show and tell, and then I had a couple of auditing sessions, and we were able to see or have the interview with Israel. It's very crowded down here today. Again, Lollapalooza is going on in Chicago. It's not really the music that I love, but I understand it's an important festival. It's a big deal. The thing that I struggle with is that it is such a great festival, and it brings so many people to Chicago. But if there's any kind of bad weather, they don't bring the people off the lawn, so they'll tear up the Grant Park, and for the rest of the summer, all of Grant Park is fenced off and excluded because they're trying to repair all the damage that occurred from Lollapalooza. Howdy, me and Taz. Just lots of people. I can see crowds everywhere, and it's one of those things that you really hope that if Scientology is out, that we do come across them, because it's just such a target-rich environment. I have to change. What else have we been seeing or talking about this week? The radio station that Scientology just bought, that's going to be interesting. And again, it's just a public loudspeaker so that Scientology can reach the Hispanic community or the Latin-speaking community. Howdy, Chuck Jay. Howdy, Adam. Trying to see what one I can get across here. So we're just now crossing Madison. Madison is the 0th Street. Yeah. I think that ambulance is going to be stuck there for a bit. But we just walked past Jehovah's Witness. See if I can get outside the people walking. They're just not walking at a pace that I'm happy with. Howdy, James. Oh, you're right. It was. You're right. TV station. Thank you, Amy. You know, it is one of those things that I think is additional ammunition for when you're talking to a public who's been um, begged for or regged for donations to Scientology International, donations to build up the ideal orgs, and now you're spending our money to buy a radio station for Spanish-speaking people. I'm sorry, a TV station for Spanish-speaking people on the West Coast, right? If I'm an international Scientologist or if I'm here in Chicago, why do I really care about Scientology buying TV stations? There. Oh, they'll absolutely make money off it. It'll just be another place where they can put out the Scientology.tv or their DirecTV chat channel on land-based communications. You know, I think that's true, but I'm also going to say that it's very possible that that's socioeconomically less true. Like I feel that people on fixed incomes are still watching TV, and people who just don't have the money to pay for streaming are still watching broadcast TV. Good job, James. Got a loud motorcycle over there. So now we're moving past the School of Art Institute in Chicago. Howdy, Susan. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I'm not sure that we've got a date for Melbourne yet, or Melbourne. I always say it wrong. It'd be a terrible Australian. Although I love the rugged landscape, and Australians just come off as always being tough, and I like that. This is new. For those of you who don't know, this is the start of Route 66 here in Chicago, and it goes out to the Santa Monica Pier in California. Nice. That is a new placard that's been put up recently. Excellent. Good call. I would say that there's, yeah, that makes sense. You know, I do worry sometimes that, right, we're rather public and vocal about what we're doing and what our intentions are, and that does give Scientology a chance to develop a defense against some of these items or some of these events that we're trying to do. Yeah. Today, I put out, what, 2 hours early that we were going to go live. So yeah, Scientology is probably aware that I'm going to come by the org today. I like that as well. By the way, I've traveled 66 by motorcycle. Um, it's really enjoyable. And if you ever hear me over on the other channel, or when we were talking about when we took the ride up to the celebration of life for Tony, if you just got 5 miles off the interstate, you would see some of the most amazing old towns and neatest museums, neatest diners. That was the lifeblood, that these 2-lane highways were. How are you doing? I said, sorry, I'm on film and it's an ugly thing that's going on, so I can't talk about it.
All right.
How are you doing?
Very good to see you.
Good to see you. Oh, wait, you're just down back from, you got to work in New York with family, right? Okay. Very nice. Love it. All right. Take care. Sorry, I hadn't seen Deb in a while.
Hey, got any water?
Yeah, get your kicks on 66. But those old, that when the interstates went in, it really crushed some of those towns because nobody had to go through those towns for lodging, or nobody had to go through those towns for gas anymore. And what's worse is the things that exist between those two towns. So the town might still have an interstates exchange, but it doesn't have the need for you to be driving out of town. You're going to drive into town, get your gas, get right back on the interstate. Yeah, it's. I would imagine, Indigo. It's got to be similar to watching like old hardware stores shrink when you've got Home Depots and Menards and Lowe's type things out there. And again, that who doesn't want more affordable equipment? But you used to go into a hardware store and they knew about plumbing and they knew about electricity. And when you had a problem, they could give you things to ideas on how you might want to fix that. They could describe for you the procedure. They'd show you right to the instruments or the equipment that you need for that project.
You weren't buying or selling wristbands.
So it's just strange that we no longer have those mom and pop stores, right? The mom and pop grocery stores. Such consolidation there. Now you still see it in ethnic neighborhoods. You'll still see ethnic groceries are still thriving. So not sure if you'll be able to see, but there's a plane overhead talking about real tequila. Another one down there that looks like it might be a high noon sign. Chicago has some of the most massive events. If you think about it, you've got the Ski and Water Show. We just had NASCAR a week ago. Now, I will say that I was late to give up TV, but I would say about 2 years ago, I gave up TV and went totally to streaming. And except for local news, I don't miss any of it. We'll give you the iconic. I'm going to change your camera for just a second. I'll get across the street too real quick. So we're seeing the iconic Lollapalooza sign here. I have not seen anybody in Scientology outfits. So whether it be suits or CCHR or Way to Happiness, I'm just not seeing the T-shirts and uniforms out here. That doesn't mean that they're not out here. It's incredibly crowded out here. They could be really just about anywhere.
Wristbands. Wristbands.
I love he's selling wristbands right in front of the police. This is interesting. Police are packed here today. I don't like seeing that. I understand that there have been changes in the world that need that, but I do not really like when we see police loaded to the gills in these scenarios. Change it back to the regular camera. Howdy, Corn. I didn't see you come in, but I see people. Oh, yeah. Yes, there are guns out. And now we're to Harrison, so we'll start walking back towards the org. Warm day out here. I feel it's got to be really high 80s right now. If we had smell-o-vision, you would definitely get an aroma of 420 right now. You know, that's probably something I need to get better at, Pene, is I'm sure that it's probably better to watch it on YouTube because you're probably only getting the highlights. And if I was to watch the titles correctly, I would probably only see the sports things, the items specific to what I wanted to really watch. Got an orange line going down the train above. As I've told you before, that train leans an awful lot right here because it's within just a very short distance of basically one parking lot. It goes from being in the street out to the alley. And in order to do that at any kind of speed, which, by the way, you usually don't come through here with much speed, but they do have to angle the tracks. And you feel like you're going to fall out a window if you're standing up on that train. You know, I think I will. I don't know if I don't think I've got any other plans, but yeah, definitely I can come out tomorrow.
All right.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure that Chicago has a SWAT team, and there are times where they have hostage crises that occur. They're usually, almost always, it's a domestic issue in that scenario, right? Yeah, yes, we can go back to '68 and before with Tillman. Sorry, we've got a train coming over the top of me. Something that I was very disappointed in is we've got the Democratic convention coming up very quickly here in Chicago, and the same police officer that is in charge of the area where Scientology is at, so the Commander Harris of District 1, he's also going to be the commander in charge at the Democratic convention. I'm pretty sure they're holding it at the United Center. I'm not positive. I just haven't looked into it yet. It's not something that I really like to go to attend, but it might be something worth going out and seeing a protest of a different nature in that space. But they basically were saying, hey, we're going to crack down on protesters, which I would say is a stupid punk-ass statement to make. And they really can't. It's illegal to do that. Federal law disallows them from that. There are other people that I know they have already pulled permits to be protesting, and this year they will be within sight and within shouting distance and visible distance of the doors of the convention. And that just becomes important. That right, the closer you are to the actual event, the more impactful your protest can be. I just scoot around. Ah, somebody snuck in there sneakily with a Cherokee. Thanks so much. Thank you for becoming a member. Welcome to the club. Yes, come down, Indigo. Want to head down. So I can still see the tents are up. Remember that every Saturday there is a farmer's market that goes on here in Printers Row. It's basically over in this corner on the other side of this parking lot. We'll head down Dearborn, see if we can go through there, find out if they passed out any literature. I do have my flyers as well. And folks, as I said before, that I don't mean to be. Hopefully, it wasn't a derogatory message towards Lollapalooza. I think it's really. I hate that they take out my front yard. Right. Just because I don't like that kind of music doesn't mean that it's bad music. It's just it doesn't appeal to me, and it's similar to what we talk about when we have so many different styles of protesting. Right. Because something doesn't appeal to you, it doesn't make it good, bad, or indifferent. You just enjoy or disenjoy it more or less because of those reasons. For those reasons. So we do have a Scientologist coming up the street in the tie. Looks like he's out for lunch, right? Remember, they're all out for lunch right now. How you doing? No response. So that's one of the skateboard kids. Yeah, we can get the email put up real quick. It's basically the channel name at gmail.com. But also, if you go to the website, you don't have to leave your name. Crazy. All right, folks, I've got my head on a swivel right now. I'm just kind of looking around. What I'm really looking at is there any literature sitting on tables anywhere? And I'm not really seeing anything. They've got some music here. Hopefully that's not coming through. The mic should be helping prevent that from bleeding through. And I'm not seeing any uniforms here. Now, it is lunchtime, so they might have just gone inside for that.
I mean, do they have like nothing?
Excuse me. Yeah, so a lot of cheeses, a lot of there's a lot of bakery type goods. Then there's garden vegetables, farm vegetables, microgreens, chips and salsa. Oh, sorry. Now, fairly positive that there really is no literature that I'm seeing on anybody's tables. And again, that when I've caught them out here before, it's really that they're talking to the vendors, or they will talk to people that are sitting down here in the park and just take advantage of the idea that it's a lot of foot traffic of people in the area. Yeah, I'm going to say that if you don't have a camera on, if you don't have a phone out, it's probably not that hard to get inside the organization. Now, what I will also say is Be careful about recording devices, and especially if they're concealed. Illinois is a two-party state, so make sure that you're reading up on the laws, no matter where you're going, in regards to that. Yeah, so we're not good. Fairly positive news. There's nothing that we're seeing there. It's 12:20. We'll head over to the org. Again, majority of the staff will be on lunch. Now, I haven't really been here on a weekend in a while, right? I was out there in Minnesota a couple weeks ago, and then went camping with my family this past weekend. We'll see what we've got here. Yeah, I love that, and the KC folks came across it as well. And I know that there's so many festivals here in Chicago, and I can't cover them all. Again, just that reminder. If there's anything you want to do to come out here and you want any encouragement, if you need any help, you need any advice, let me know, right? The more feet on the ground, the better. The more that we can kind of track down where these people are at, setting up tables. You will find it right there. Sometimes it'll be at ball yards, right? If there's a couple of parks here in Chicago where you've got 4 or 5 ball yards in the same park. So, right, summer kids are out here playing Little League. That's a great opportunity for them to go set up a table, right? I see Cherokee's talking about Android. I would say that historically I was always the Android guy. I hated closed source, right? So the idea that Apple was so proprietary, and I love to just dig around in code and see what I can do to improve or take advantage of it. And I always loved that the Google Android space was so open sourced, and it was so easy to get information, lower barrier and cost-wise to get involved in it. But I will say that the way that Apple devices interact with one another, it just crushes, for the most part, most of the Android space. Now, again, that they limit things because now Apple's advantage is, got another guy out here, looks like he's at the bottom of the street on a phone call outside of the pure green space here. He might make a call back to the org, see if he can get that up there, see if he can get them to close the lines before I get there. This is the younger of the skateboard guys, and if you remember Trashy V12 BMW, when he was out here, there's some people in front of the org right now. This is the one that chased SRA and Trashy up the street. So you can see the guy in the red shirt, he's the Dynetics, he's going inside, right? They can't be outside anymore. I just saw him pick up the brick, right? He's closing the door because Scientology has to hide. And let's remind them to bring their shades down. Come on, bring the shades down. Oh, they're packed in here. So every seat in this cafeteria is full right now. I can see the older couple that speak Spanish. They're here. The man standing up, I know you can't see because of the gloss in there, but the man standing up with the white hair, he's the one that talked to the police when FXP was here. And the cop that was, oh darn, I can't remember his name right now. Sergeant Dolan, right? He was the one that used the microphone from across the street. So we've got him already pulling down over here. Oh, there's a new face. Remember, the cult can't stand up to the light of day, so they've got to close everything up, right? So bring those shades down. By the way, Mary, fake phone tech is very effective here. There have been times where I was on the other channel, and yes, I would have had my phone out recording, but they brought the shades down then. But also, there's been times where I'll come by and I'll just pull my phone out of my pocket, not record or anything like that. But if I hold the phone up, they're gonna be there. Oh, you were talking about the staff member. How every time you see a staff member, they've got the phone to their ear, and that's also true. You know what? We haven't seen around back yet. Let's go around there. Now, one thing that we did see just now is you saw the dark-haired, he's very muscular young fella. He was the one that used to be in the white leather coat, you know, looking really trendy and flashy, handing out flyers with the very thin, tight curly-haired black male. They used to go out as a twosome, but he was the one that was just there talking to an older person who was in civilian clothing, but he had a pendant around his neck. So, I'm sorry, a lanyard around his neck. So I don't know, maybe there's some kind of special session going on, like a conference going on today or something. But let's look around back real quick. See that real quick. So if I was to count in that building, now the one thing that I want to remind everybody, it's a 7-story building, and I can really only see in on the ground floor. There were 2 people at the front desk, and then the 2 people that walked in. So that's 4 people that are out in the media center. And then you saw that I was pointing to that room to the south of the building. That's their cafeteria. I'm just kind of mentally doing a head count real quick. There were 18 to 20 people in there, right? So there's people in there. So 18 to 20 plus 4. So yeah, anywhere from 22, 24 people. And that's what I can see on that floor. It is lunchtime, so again, there'll be a lot of people here. Most of the people will be having lunch right now. The people that are at the desk, right, there's probably some people that work through lunch, but then they take the hour before, the hour after off. Last week, there's a young lady, her name's Izzy, Izzy Bahari, I think. She's always pissed that I know her name, so she rolls her eyes and shakes her head that I know her name. And then I said, "Oh, you're making your fake phone call," and then she kind of flashed her phone at me, like to say, "See, there's somebody here." I said, "Okay, great." That you do it once doesn't mean you always do it. Now, just based upon the time, maybe some young lady, somebody lost their panties, and they're laying there on the sidewalk. So if you had black lace panties, I know where they are. No, I will not pick them up and send them to you. Because it's the middle of lunch, activity is going to be low. There might be, darn it. So 2 publics just walked in, right? The older male in the black that would have been in our camera, and then she had gray hair. This one, again, is another foundation guy. He's oftentimes here at night and in the evenings. I'm pulling out my phone just to get higher quality images of these people. I've got a video that I'm putting together that'll show some of these faces. So many of the people here, I know their names. Many of them I don't. So I want to keep on reminding, if you're under the radar or if you're recently out. I know that hey, you want to make a clean break. Many people want to make a clean break and might still have family members in. So I'm not asking you to disclose that, but if you can help me out with these names, it's helpful. I just feel better when I'm calling people by their name. Hey, you is not as impactful to me as calling somebody by their name. Ah, I've got a shoe that doesn't want to stay tied. Now, Kathy, let's kind of unwind that a little bit. Um, the reason that he said it would be a very busy time is because there would be an awful lot of Publix in here. Now, the Publix aren't going to be using that cafeteria. Most of the Publix here are fairly well-to-do, and everybody that I saw in there was in uniform. There could be an awful lot of Publix. We saw 2 Publix just walk in as I was reapproaching the front door. They're going to go upstairs. So all of the course rooms, let me see if I can kind of give you that, right? We've got 7 stories here. How you doing? You know it's a cult, right? Yeah. You're okay? So Danny Masterson raped 3 women. He's a member in good standing of this church. He's in jail for 30 years to life. He's still a member there. The 3 people that he raped, when they went forward, the church disowned those 3 people. So the victims couldn't report their crimes.
So this group?
This group. Church of Scientology.
This is Scientology?
Yes. They told you it was way to happiness, Dianetics?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this person, dead, mental abuse.
Right.
You'll get much more information off of this. I wish I would have seen you when you were going in.
Yeah, I'm not something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll look into this.
Okay.
For sure. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, if nothing else happens today, we won. He was totally unaware that it was Scientology, right? So he spent his time in there. Again, that when I tell people that it's a nefarious practice, they're very deceptive. They don't want people to know it's Scientology. It wasn't until he looked up here that he saw, right? Oh my gosh, I was in a Scientology building. I didn't know that. Unfortunately, 20 bucks gone, right? 20, 30 bucks. You know, I wonder if they play with those prices, if they kind of use auction elements for those prices. We've got 3 more coming from the north. You can see the guy is still, he just picked up his phone, trying to figure out what he just got himself into. We've got 3 Scientologists returning, again, from lunch, right? By the way, we do know the guy that was in the red shirt that came out with that person, his name is Nico something. I can't remember exactly what it is. It's Nico, but if you go to the website and you look at there's the blog on the Chicago Staff Org, you'll see him. Anything positive to share about the church? Does the church let you talk about the church? If you can't talk about it, you're not free. I know it's the bridge to total freedom, but you're not free. You'll notice, right, that we saw the blue vest. And again, maybe Chicago's changing their colors. Maybe it's new people coming in from another org that was the color at their old org. Historically, this had been the gold vest that we were seeing here. Now, one thing is that Nico, and somebody's going to have to correct me I'm on that, but I think it's Nico. The gentleman in the red shirt that came and brought the green candidate out here that I was able to talk to. He usually is in a suit, so I don't know why he's here today in a red T-shirt. But I will say that since they do have the red T-shirts on, if they do go out body routing, they're much more easily identifiable. Just a reminder for those of you that are new here, I tend to raise the camera when there's just civilians coming by. They didn't ask to live their life on film or on camera. I've got a couple more coming through real quick. He had the Dianetics book, so he bought the Dianetics book. Yeah, these are the things that I'm really sad that I'm not able to catch them on the way in, right? Don't give them your real name, right? Yeah, when we started getting our record-breaking heat, like we had those 100-degree days, I felt so bad for these guys that were out, body routing. Yeah, and I'm gonna, that I don't want to take full credit here that I can't be here and be useful or engage these people without the people that suffered through Scientology, right? The former Scientologists, the second gens, ex-Scientologists. Without their information, without their knowledge, I don't know how to help these people understand what they've gone through is wrong. What you'll see, I gave that gentleman a business card, and I'll show you the business card real quick. That anytime you want out, let us know. SPTV Foundation. He's a public that's been here for quite some time. So the back of this will send you, that scan code will take you to my website, and you'll see all kinds of blog posts about just some of the abuses that Scientology does. And then the front of it is basically inspired by Tori Magoo. And Tori Magoo would basically point people to xenu.net and let people know about all of the crazy things that would go on in the Church of Scientology. Yeah, they might be changing to blue because they like it, right? Or that it's more soothing. I'll just tell you that there are 3 basic colors that I've seen. When we were in Minnesota, they had what would be considered bronze or copper was the color. Here, historically, from the opening until maybe 3 weeks ago, we were seeing only gold. And now we've been starting to see a blend of this silvery blue as well. I'm going to go ahead and walk up to the top of the street again. Just want to see if they're trying to sneak anybody out the back. It's unlikely, that they do adhere to time, and they kind of honor that for the most part. That people get an hour for lunch, they get their hour for lunch. Now, again, going back to the Saturdays are busy, right? It's because when many of the public, they actually have jobs, right? A public Scientologist does a job, and they come here they spend their money on coursework to take the auditing and to go up the bridge to total freedom or to total financial failure. And because they're working most days, Saturdays are an obvious time for them to come to the org and get their studies in, or to do their testing or audit out of whatever level and class coursework they're in. Hey, Allie. It was great seeing you yesterday on Natalie's show with Fluffer. Folks, if you don't know, Allie Z-News is an auditor in Kansas City. So she tries very hard to be out there every Thursday, but she also is the development mind behind SPTV.space. And with her cohorts, fluffer. And by the way, now it's not even fair to say that there's 3 people doing it, because you've got Skywriter 140, maybe Skywriter 180. Somebody's gonna have to check me on that. But doing the wiki page, and you've got Brigitte doing the all of the resources that are out there. The Scientology Geek has been loading up ChatGPT with Scientology. And I did like the elven magic that, oh, somebody just came out. So the guy that was outside when we first started showing up, he's now walking down the sidewalk. That's that red shirt that you see ahead of us. I'll head down there and see if he's got anything with him. We see another Scientologist coming from across the street. So remember, what we had guessed 24 before, but we now have seen 2, 3. This is the 5th person entering since we made that prediction. Sorry, I'm kind of got my head on a swivel here. I want to see if there's a way I can get across the street. I've got my eye on the Scientologists who will traditionally do body routing. He's at the corner down there on the far side. He's walking across the street right now. Looking back towards the org as well. Not really seeing anything up there. Okay, so I think that he's heading out to lunch. He's headed south on Clark. He's gone past Polk Street. Yeah, you can still see him down there. I don't know if you can see him or not, but he's walking south there. The only thing that's really south of here is the Target, so it's probably that he was somebody who was not on lunch during the lunch hour, and now he's going out to grab his lunch. There's a Target down there, and the Target has, you can get a quick grab-and-go sandwich, or there's a Starbucks in that Target. So here's another. We just see the hug, right, of the Scientologist, the public that just came out. Let me see if I can. She might be waiting for a car. Yeah. Is it okay that women can't report crimes against them in that church? Now you saw that they do have affection, whether it's real or not. The uniformed member came out of the church with this person who is in civilian clothing, most likely a public, in her nice SUV, that they hugged when they came out the door, right? And early on in this stream, we saw the guy on Dearborn Street, and he had his tie on, right? I told you, the skateboard guy. He's now returning with his lunch. Wonder if he's still got a Braille skateboard. James, thanks for the recall there. I will say that I am boycotting Starbucks. They kicked me and my dog out after 2 years of daily coffees, and I just didn't like the rudeness that we were confronted with. So this is one of the lady that we're watching go down the street. She was at the front desk. She's part of the team that was the blind brigade when they came out. So now she's going to lunch because she probably was working through lunch in order to engage anybody who would have been coming in off the sidewalks. So I've taken a photo a day with a coffee cup from all of the other neighborhood coffee stores near that Starbucks. Yeah, and I'll be honest with you that letter of the law, 100%, that is a correct statement. Okay, so this is something that's really scary. So you're going to see a man and his child. This girl is going to go into Scientology. I'm going to take the camera off real quick because I just don't want to have children on film. But when she goes into the building, I'll show you. See? So now Scientology is a daycare. So he's a staff member. He almost always comes in uniform. Not sure why he just dropped his child off here today. But that's just disheartening. And I apologize, folks. I just don't really want to put the kids' cameras on face, but I do want you to recognize that, right, that child did go in that door. And what's worse is that child was just kind of pushed in the door, and then the parent, guardian, whomever, walked away, right? Yeah, and that's really what it was. And I felt bad for the rest. So I think that she was a new supervisor, and I think that she kind of came in with a heavy fist, and none of the other baristas who recognized me kind of wanted to stand up to her or defend the situation. Now we're right with 10 minutes to go. We're going to start seeing an influx. I know that we didn't think that 25 people was a lot. Now we're seeing 2 more come in. Anything positive to share about your church? Nothing positive about the cult? Yeah, the cult of Scientology does everything positive for the fans? The girls giggled when, I'm sorry, the ladies that just walked by giggled. Yeah, something about this particular Starbucks as well is they offer something called a pup cup, which is really just whipped cream in a small little shot glass. But the idea that you have that is definitely showing you that you should do that. But yeah, MD Media, that was just, and I'm gonna be out. I kind of froze there that I don't want to confront a child, but I wish I really would have said that, right, children can't consent. Now, it would have fallen on deaf ears, right? That guy's a member. That is not the first time I've seen him bring that child into this organization. That at least 3 other times we've seen them walk down here and go in. I looked at the last two that walked in, right? One of them, she's always been just a flat tone person to me, never smiled, never stone faced as can be. She'll pull the shades once she's on shade duty every once in a while. She's not typically somebody at that front desk. But she has never responded to me, never reacted to me in any way, shape, or form. The taller gentleman, he'll kind of sneer at me on occasion. But the reason I kind of want to call him out is that I don't know how old he is, but he looks terrible, right? He does not look like a person in good health. And it's so typical of what we see with most Scientologists, right? That for some reason, this is oftentimes our Shades girl. Anything positive to share about the church? Curious to see what the civilian gear is out for today. Yeah, 100% it's not safe, right? You're taking 100 times the daily recommended dosage there. We've got another Scientologist, right? The older woman behind the bicycle. Can't really see her yet, but right. So she's got her cigarette in hand. Yeah, I'll tell you that it was heartbreaking to be here live. Our woman walked into the Dunkin' Donuts. So she's going to grab a coffee or a drink before she comes to work. You okay that women can't? That's a shame. Again, we're just seeing people flow in here. And I know that's not 1,000 people, but it's not nobody. And this org seems to be growing. Oh no, she did not go and get a coffee. She hid behind the dumpster to smoke her cigarette. Anything positive to share about the church? Nothing positive about your cult? The cult of Scientology? Not positive? Nothing positive? Hopefully you saw the civilian come by and kind of cheer me on. Folks, if you're not subbed to MD Media, make sure you're over there helping them out. Definitely one of the people that's on the streets very often. I know he's going through some injury recovery right now. Hopefully that gets better quickly. That is... Cheryl is just deadpan funny so often. She was just a ball to chat with when we were up in Minnesota. Got quite a crew coming down. Oh, that might be the Eastern European that oftentimes will kind of shake her fist at me, tell me not to follow her. We'll see if she goes across the street. I just didn't see her face. Up, and Here comes another Scientologist in uniform up the street. Yes, that would be fun. Now, I will tell you that there are plenty of locals that recognize me. They may not know me by name, but they recognize me, and they will come up and ask me why I'm out here and everything. And when I explain to them, they're like, well, thank you very much for doing that. There has never been a local who I've expressed anything to that said, well, you shouldn't be doing that, or it's a waste of time, right? It's always, wow, I didn't know that, and thank you for being out there. Come on, you know that's not open. Anything positive to share about your church? No, there's nothing positive about your cult. The cult of Scientology has nothing positive today. Children can't consent. What was that kid? Somewhere between 14 and 18? Yeah, sure. I've got to. Yeah, that it doesn't sit well with me. I don't want to. I don't like to disrespect people because of their age and things of that nature. And I think that. And by the way, I'm absolutely fine with anybody who has that persona and can be the bravado person. I just not that bravado person. I'd rather smother them in kindness, right? And I know that some people say, well, you tell them it's a cult. Hopefully you've all seen. I offer them any opportunity to say something nice about their church. It's when they've refused to say something nice about their church, that's when I know that I've got an opportunity. So, but I do think that I thought the Coffin Dodger was very funny when I first heard it. But again, there's a sensitivity issue to it in that space. Uh, all good, all good. I understand. Because it's Lala and many of the attendees will gear up for it. You're just seeing an awful lot of interesting. I don't know if we call it costumes or um, dresses, makeup, all kinds of stuff. Uh, I watch a channel and they're out of Australia. He's a photographer. I like doing wildlife photography, and he's got some great pictures of kookaburras. And recently we've been hearing a couple of times that so Brigitte is actually somebody of very short stature, and I'm not positive if it's some form of dwarfism, but right, the height jokes against Davy bother her. Anything positive to share about your church? Nothing positive about your cult? Anything positive to share about your church? Nothing positive about the cult of Scientology? Oh, we got a green candidate coming out. Yeah. Oh no, that's the young kid that just went in, right? So, oh, and he just cheered for. Well, kind of gave a positive look to the other one. So, probably 5 minutes ago, right? We saw the man and the young boy walk in. They're standing right inside this vestibule right here. Another Scientologist here across the street, right? Yeah, that tall young kid that just walked in, that's right in the uniform. He really, really looks young to me. Like I've got to think mid-teens, um, and he's been here since the opening. This is the woman who walked out with that public in the white SUV. Yeah, this is where we go to spend all of our money, right? You got to teach those kids young. Is funnel web the deadliest, or just one of the deadliest? That's one of those things that I always think about Australia. It's like 9 of the 10 deadliest snakes live in Australia. 9 of the 10 deadliest spiders live in Australia. It's like, why do we want to go to Australia? Um, Here in the Midwest, we'll have water moccasin, but that's about the only thing we have here in the Upper Mississippi Valley. Um, so that's our poison. Anything positive to share about your church? Nothing positive about the cult of Scientology there? Again, when I say that, the kids react. So they now know, okay, cult. Interesting. I wonder what that is. Anything positive? Oh, she was going to let you in that door. Darn it. They must have a VIP coming. Now, remember, some of these publics don't want it to be known that they're coming in here. They understand that there's um, drama with it. Got yet another uniformed lady coming up the street. Anything positive to share about your church? Does the church let you talk about the church? Because that's not freedom. Freedom would allow you to talk about it. Are you allowed to read books not associated with the church? Anything positive to share with the church? Nothing positive about the cult here? I don't know. Usually, I can fill this air with chatter, and I'm sorry. I've kind of just been staring, looking around to see if I can find anything, and I've been forgetting to, to engage with you. So hopefully, you guys have been chatting very well in there. Let's go up to the corner again. I just want to see if if post lunch people are trying to sneak in a smoke break. Thank you, Dee. And again, something I just want to make abundantly clear, that there are those people that are very boisterous, right? So we know that, Pearl has no problem yelling at a Scientologist. Selfless, no problem yelling at that. And there are people that need that. There are people that need that awareness. But also keep in mind that they might not be talking to the Scientologist. They might also be raising their voice to bring awareness to other people that are on the sidewalk there, right? And again, I'm just saying that there's a million ways to protest, and we probably need them all. Is there a reason that I do it the way I do it? Yeah, I feel most comfortable with the way I do it. Howdy, Cubs. I would say the most demoralizing thing that we've seen so far, right, is, well, the young girl that not only did she go in, her father brought her up to the door, sent her into the organization, and then walked away. Now, her father is a member. He's a uniformed member, a staff member. I can't tell you if he's Sea Org or not. It's unlikely to be Sea Org because he has a child with him. I've seen that child with him several times before. But, right, why is there a child going in there without the attendance of their parent? Now, my expectation is the mother is also a staff member. I just don't think that I've ever seen the child walking around with the mother. And that maybe that's what's going on there. Maybe she was going to go into a course, but I would have imagined that a guardian should have been staying with them. We did see another younger male go in, and I have a feeling that he's being courted for a staff type role, because all of the other, when the door opened and the vestibule opened and they were talking there, everybody was kind of like, "Hi, hey, great to see you." It was that vibe that was going on there. Folks, Cubs is relentless, so if you get a chance, make sure you're getting over to his channel and subscribing there, watching him, getting those watch hours up. I feel like I come out a lot. He and Eric Rader are the two that I think are out way more than I am. Now, the one that does the one that I feel is going to be chained to the body routing today. Like I said, he went down towards the target. I think he's just going to grab lunch and be back. Yeah, and again, I wish that I would have remembered, right, children can't consent, but there was that part of me that was like, I can't believe this is happening right now. Right? Oh my God, that guy just threw his child into a den of iniquity. Thank you so much, Cherokee. I appreciate that. And yeah, when I said earlier, when I said Eric Rader is who I was talking about. Folks, and Eric Rader is also a former Scientologist. So he was somebody who was traumatized by the church. Right? I'm very fortunate that I was never traumatized by the church. I got into this mostly when I heard that. I always knew that that they had this fantasy belief, and I didn't really care about it because people will say that about some of the Judeo-Christian beliefs as well. And great, if you want to believe something like that, believe something like that. That's no problem. It's when you commit and perpetrate and promote the crimes and abuses, the child abuse, the human trafficking, the elder abuse, the financial fraud that goes on in this church. To understand that you're not a business and you think you're a church, silly. Right? Yeah, Nicole, I did see the child's face. I will tell you that from afar, when she was still far away, I took the camera off. I just don't think it's appropriate to put children on camera. I don't think that she understands. And again, if you're born into this, it's normal, right? She might not have any non-Scientology friends. She might not know that her life is so much different than everybody else's life. But I'm sure that her parents helped keep her promoting the idea that, see, isn't life so great? Isn't life so grand? What'd you do at the church today? Didn't you have fun doing such and such? Right? And you create that normalcy so that you probably wouldn't be able to tell from the child's face that something was not right. %, KA. We've got yet another staff member coming up the street. This one I've seen several times. She'll say hi to me. She, she feels like everybody's grandmother. Hey, is the coast clear? Can we send them out? And I do think that there probably is somebody in there that they're trying to get out and not have to worry about me confronting them. Do you know what they are? Do you know what they are? Yeah, right. I need some Acme rockets. How are you today? Anything positive to share about your church? Nothing positive about the cult of Scientology? Again, 3 college kids coming by. I need them to turn their head when they hear that. I want them to turn their head. Yeah, I think there should be just that meme of you've got the cage sitting on the twig with a string tied to the twig, and just put the cigarettes and the coffee underneath there, and then capture the Scientologists. I agree, and I love that Cubs has the names of all those people. Cubs is covering all of the entrances, so he makes it very challenging for people not to have to hear some form of protest, whether it's a public or whether it's a staff member. It's hard to leave that organization and not get a little bit of a story from our man Cubs. Yeah, this is one of those things that we always get. I'm going to say there are plenty of people that get upset that we don't know the numbers that pass through Aftermath or SPTV Foundation, and by that I mean the people how many people are they getting out? There are so many people that when they come out, they don't want it to be known that they've come out because they don't want to be disconnected from their family. They have a sister, a cousin, an aunt, an uncle, a whatever, but they don't want to lose the connection in that space. So the idea that you kind of just have to hold your tongue until everybody gets out or everybody is no longer with us. I think that the fourth wall. I'm going to have to check, but a lot of the fourth wall, they will make it in country, but I'm not sure if Australia is one of the countries. Yeah, this is one of the things that I find most remarkable, right? The idea that they spend hundreds of millions of dollars to buy and restore this building, and then at the first sign of protesting, uh, they hide it all down, right? That they've got to take away all of the advantages of the retail space, which they spent all that money on, just to make sure that the cameras can't see it, right? And there are many of theories on why this occurs, right? Are there members in there who have family that don't know they're here and they need to stay off camera? Is it the idea that they don't want to see an empty org, right? So when I show the camera in there, especially at nighttime when you can see in there so well, um, both of those aisles are empty. So where the public would be engaging the media monitors, it's almost always empty. Very, very seldom is there anybody in there. And Scientologists don't want that, or Scientology doesn't want that to be the thing they're known for. That look at all of these expensive empty buildings that we have. Yeah, and I'm going to say that I understand the United States errs on the side of religious freedom. Um, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I will say that I prefer that we err on the right of religious freedom and we don't choose what religions you can be in and what religions you can't be in. But a religion can't go as far as to put a child in harm. And we saw that with the Seventh-day Adventists. Um, they're a church that won't let you go to the doctors if you're sick. They think that prayer heals everything. And they withheld medication from a child. The child died, and at that point, the government finally stepped in and said, "Yeah, you can't do this, right? You can't withhold medical care from church members." I think that you're no longer allowed to do like in the Bible Belt. You've got some of these fundamentalist groups where they'll wrestle with rattlesnakes, and you can't do that with children anymore, right? But there was a time in America where religious freedom allowed that. So as explicit elements become more aware, or um, as they unfold, they do chip away at. You can't do anything in a religion, but you can still do a lot of things in a religion. Adam, you're probably right. I remember that you've got. You're right. It's the Christian Science. Yeah. I've told you so many times. I don't care about the beliefs or the philosophy per se of Scientology. Uh, my problem is where it intersects with crimes and where it intersects with abusing um, children, elders, unwitting victims. Right? And I know victims is kind of a loaded word and nobody wants to be a victim, but I still do say that almost everybody that's in this building is a victim. They don't understand it and they don't know it, but they are a victim and they have been persuaded by the teachings of whoever drugged them into this organization. Yeah, my understanding, Cherokee, on that is that the Australian states act independently, so it's not necessarily a federal element. It's each state decides whether or not they're tax exempt. Now, I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm just saying that that's my understanding of it. I'll have to look at that, Adam. I didn't know that they had the News Journal as well. Oh, is that Christian Science Monitor? All right, folks. I'm not seeing any reason or concern that they're going to be really blasting the Lollapalooza Fest today. Haven't seen them try to put anybody out. It's been 20 minutes since lunchtime. Nobody's come out. I haven't seen anybody go past the top or the bottom of the street. I haven't seen anybody come out the front door. So I think we're going to say we had a fairly productive day. You know, I'm going to say that I love that we caught on film, and I hate that we saw something, and that was that child being sent into the org. But we also were able to interdict the person that came out. He bought the book. He didn't even realize it was Scientology, right? So again, Scientology is very, very deceptive in its marketing. Yeah. Oh, J-Bat, thank you very much. I will be going live tonight with Declared Dave. We'll kind of do a week in review. He had Nora on, and they were going over the e-meter quite a bit. And then he did a show and tell, boy, Thursday night, I think? Yeah, Thursday night. And then we'll kind of look at a few of the snippets of the interview we did with Israel. If you don't know, Israel is a survivor of United Flight 232. In 1989, there was an engine failure. The engine failure threw one of the fan blades through the hydraulic lines, and it ended up just sadly hitting all three hydraulic lines at once. So even though there were redundant systems, it took out all of the redundancy. It was a fiery crash. There were 184 survivors, and it just so happens that Israel was one of those survivors. So definitely make sure you subscribe over to Dave's channel, subscribe here, get your notifications. You'll know when I do a surprise live, you know, and a lot of times during the week, I'm just doing it between meetings. So I can't really schedule those as well as I can some of these evening shows. Before we're reading here. Windy City, yeah, Windy City Thetan Watch. Windy City Thetan Watch.
Okay, got it. I'll make sure to look. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm anti-Scientology.
Okay,
right?
That's good to know.
Yep.
Serious?
No.
That's fine. Right. I'll make sure.
Take care, guys. And yes, I do appreciate any support we get. The upgrading cameras, getting more phones. It's just coming out here, right? Buying the business cards, the keeping the website. You know, there's fees for the keeping the website up, software fees for the video editing and all of that. But if you can, great. If you can't, don't. There's plenty of support that I really do love when we've got people here having good conversations, helping me confront the Scientologists, helping me remember what I should be saying and what are some other opportunities that I have out here. So, Cher, there are probably 100 people that are actually on a leash this weekend in Lollapalooza. It's an interesting collection of music goers. Yeah, I love, so you know, the real goal, yes, do I want Scientology to be taken down? 100%. I want to say that I don't think that that's going to be a next week solution. But the more people that we bring awareness to, the more people will start to shine a light on, wait, who are these wacky people? Who are these people that have these crazy religious beliefs? Who are these people that traffic children around the world, traffic humans around the world, allow people to commit crimes, and when they commit crimes, they have a slush fund that helps them bring people out of the jurisdiction, right? For those of you who don't know, right, Miriam Francis, she was abused as a child by her father. When he um, admitted, not when he mentioned it in auditing, uh, immediately the church reacted and they realized, well, we've got to get him out of the country. So they shipped him off to England, and we've got to get her out of the country. So they shipped Miriam back to Australia. She was native. She was born in Australia, in that space. And I think it was Matt Pesh who ran that slush fund. And yeah, we need to get a bunch of money together. We need to get this person out of here, quick. That's probably something that happened to Chadwick Burke here. I can't remember who the one that attacked Jay was, but the one that attacked Jay, right? Immediately, we got to get him out of this jurisdiction. We can't have him here anymore when they do that. So helping to bring awareness is that first step to the eventual step of hopefully getting Scientology their tax status exemption revoked, and once that happens, they won't be able to keep up with the money. There will probably be I can't remember what they're called anymore. The people who are not Scientologists or not part of Scientology, but they still practice Scientology. Thank you, Michael. Curtis Johnson, right? Think about it. The church has a fund. They realized they needed a fund that would help them with these kinds of problems. Right? Why don't you solve that kind of problem? Then you don't have to worry about getting a fund. All right. Do we have? Are there any other lives out there right now? I know it's a very hot Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon. I need to grab myself some water or Gatorade, get a bite to eat, head home and spend some time with my family. Really appreciate everybody hanging out with us today. We'll see if we can get some clips up to Natalie for tomorrow's show. Yeah, it is the boiling frog, right? Um, that child that went in, right? The water is very tepid right now. She's got no idea that they're going to turn the temperature of that water up. Thank you all so much. All right, I don't think that we've got any raid ability today. I don't know if there's anybody out there. If you get a chance to, head over to sptv.space. And again, don't look at it just for the lives. And again, look at it for the lives. I want you to be looking at lives, right? But think about some of those other resources that are there and the other information. This is funny. Remember the Scientologist that left going towards Target? We're about to pass them again. Anytime you want out, we can help you. So he had a long walk at lunch. Poor fella. All right. Folks, really appreciate being here. Again, join us tonight at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Hey, why are we putting Eastern times out there? I'm a Midwestern guy. No, I appreciate it. Be out there with Dave, so join us then. We'll talk about the week in review. Thank you all. I'm going to go get myself a beverage. Take care. Bye-bye.